So a big win that I had this week, y'all, was I was with my family. And as y'all know, we lost like the elder. We lost her, right? She passed on, my Aunt Glo. And I have one great aunt left, my Aunt Nita. So some of y'all saw me on the live. We had fun with her, right? So that's her sister. That's her youngest. She's the last one. So my Aunt Nita is the one now. She's our cornerstone. And as I talked to my family yesterday, and I was around them yesterday, a sense of urgency hit me. Right? Like a sense of urgency hit me. And I said, damn, she the last one left. As I watched her enjoy us, I watched her look at several generations, right? And make sure y'all keep y'all phone muted tonight. I watched her in my mind. I only could imagine what this looked like to her. At this point, she's now lost all her sisters, all her brothers. They've all moved on. And so now she is, I want to say, late 60s. Maybe 70s. She's in her 70s. She's late 70s. She's in her 70s. And I said, as I looked at her, she's still young, she's still beautiful, she still has that beautiful hair. I'm looking at her and I'm like, damn, she has no more siblings. And then I look and I say, okay, here's her nieces and nephews and her child, her son, my cousin. She's looking at her nieces and nephews, which is her sister's kids. And then she's looking at her sister's kids, which is me. And then my kid, right? My group, my cousins, and our kids, and then some of our other cousins. So I'm looking and I'm like, damn. Immediately I went into, we gotta preserve. Like, immediately in my mind, I said, we gotta get as much information from her as possible documented, right? We got to get as much information from her as possible documented, because once she go, we can't get that back. You feel me? Like, I took a step back and was like, whoa, this is crazy. So I used to talk to my Aunt Glo a lot, right? But I didn't document it, and it made me mad. I'm like, damn, I ain't document the conversations. You feel me? So now I'm like, yo, I gotta spend the next couple years, and everybody in my family gotta spend the next couple years draining her and extracting that information from her, documenting everything we can. But then I went a step further. And I looked at, after my great aunt passes, right? After she passes, who is the next person in line that can carry the throne? That can make sure we all getting together for the holidays? I looked at my uncle. I'm like, okay, my uncle. That's who house we was by yesterday. I'm like, okay, cool. Uncle, hold that down. But then I thought about my uncle. He telling me, because he looking at me now like, nephew, I see what you're doing, boy. I'm proud of you. You doing this, you doing that. And so now, that generation that follows him is me. Well, the generation that follows him is my aunt's son, my cousin G. So that would be No, the generation that follows him is me, because that's my mom and them, right? So that's me. So I'm looking and I'm like, damn, I gotta do it. But also, I now gotta put the generation after them, which is my kid, in position, right? Right? So we see it. Like, I want us to, because somebody here is in the same predicament. And so we always talking about generational wealth. We always talking about investing. We always talking about all of this. I fought myself because I stopped talking about this because I had so much other stuff going on. But tonight I want to talk about family SOPs, y'all. This is a book that I stopped writing. I got some other things coming on that I'm supposed to be doing. But tonight, I want to just have this conversation. Because New Year's is coming. The New Year is coming. And we are about to embark. We don't know what this year gonna hold. We don't know what this year gonna hold. We was blessed that my Aunt Glo lasted 2 years during the COVID pandemic thing. We was blessed that she didn't even pass from COVID. Right? We was blessed that she didn't pass from COVID. Hearts out, prayers out to everybody that lost somebody to COVID. Right? Now we looking at my aunt, and I'm like, shit, this stuff done ramped up again. So not only do we gotta protect her and make sure she's good, but we gotta start preparing for generational transfers in documentation, policy, principles, right? Documentation, policies, principles, values. We have to now put ourselves in a situation where we start preparing for that. Right? So tonight what I want us to do is, instead of us breaking down businesses, tonight I want to have a real conversation. And this is why I told people, like, get on my live. Trappers, y'all know y'all gonna get the conversation. Y'all gonna get it in the group. I wanted to have a real conversation because one of the things, and even with myself, even though I'm known like as the Wall Street trapper, I am now about to expand what I talk about. I'm about to expand what I talk about because there's more to building wealth and stocks. I don't want to be known as the stock guy. There's a reason why I'm calling my show the Wealth Connect. It's because I want to be the plug for helping our class of people build wealth. I'm not just talking about black people either. I'm talking black, talking brown, talking Hispanic, Spanish, Asian, white. Because what happens is wealth isn't defined by color. I'm saying this for a reason, y'all. This ain't me going mainstream. This me understanding that, damn, I grew up knowing some poor white people in my hood. I grew up knowing some, especially in my hood, poor Spanish dudes. And I'm like, damn. Y'all heard me started talking about classism a while back because it started clicking to me that, true enough, I'm going to always truly be the spokesperson for people that look like me, sound like me, talk like me. I'm going to be the spokesperson. I'm going to be the voice for them. Hands down, I'm cool with that. I understand that. But I also understand that classism is way deeper than racism. There's a certain group of people that perpetuates their wealth because they do not give access to information to another class of people. And because another class of people doesn't get access to the information, all they do is pass down generational poverty, generational trauma. You feel me? Again, I'ma always be an advocate for talking to black people. Like, I grew up black, so I understand them problems firsthand. So I'm going to always punch that elephant in the face. I ain't going to never deviate from it. But I want us to talk about some things tonight. And it's because I looked at my family and I said, damn, like my great aunt is the last one. And so I know a lot of us are in those situations. So I'm going to present us with some things tonight. And if you got your pencil and your paper, these are some ideas that I wrote down. And I want to not only have a discussion, but I want us to really lock in on it. And so the first thing I want to ask you is, what can you do to encourage financial literacy in your family? What can you do to encourage financial literacy in your family? Do they understand the power and value of $1? Do they understand the power of compounding? Do we understand the power of investing, not spending more than what we have, and the power of leverage? Those things. Do we understand the value of $1? Do we understand the power of compounding? Do we understand the power of investing, not spending more than what we have, and understanding the power of leverage? These are some of the things we must understand first and foremost. Right? Also, we have to make this understood. Money is a tool, not a goal. Money is a tool, not a goal. Say that again. Money is a tool, not a goal. Okay? Let's dig that in. Next, I want us to ask ourselves these questions. Right? I want us to ask ourselves this question. Has your family purchasing power increased over the last 5 years? If not, what are some principles and values that you must implement to change? Say it again. Has your family's purchasing power increased over the last 5 years? And if not, what are some of the values and principles that must be implemented to change that? Right? Let's sit that down. Let's write that down. Right? Right? And so when we say purchasing power, right? I mean, as a collective, is the family now able to purchase more now than it did 5 years ago? I'm not just talking one person. I'm not just talking one person. Feel me? Some people may have acquired a little more. I'm asking, has the family's purchasing power? Right? So if you're a married couple, are you all now be able to acquire more assets now than you were 5 years ago? Or we can be talking about the old. Has it increased? Like, these are real life questions. Right? Check it out. What resources do your family have access to create wealth or improve the family dynamic? What resources do your family have access to create wealth or improve the family dynamic? It's perfectly okay if you don't know none of the answers to any of these questions. It is perfectly okay if you don't have the answers to none of these questions. Why? Because this was something that we weren't taught. So now I wanted to take a minute, because we only had one person to talk to tonight. Hold up. Right? We only had one person to present tonight. So I said, instead of us having a class on that tonight, no, do not follow Dave Ramsey. And I will be bold enough to say that. Do not follow Dave Ramsey. Alright? What is your family's strength? What is your family's strength? What are you strong at? What do you do well? What is your family's weakness? What is your family's strength? What is your family's weakness? Next, this is important. This is important. This is important. Creating a family balance sheet and income statement. Creating a family balance sheet and income statement. This is so essential to building wealth as a family. These are tough questions that have to be asked and that have to be paid attention to. So many people talk about building generational wealth, but we never get to the meat and potatoes of it. Everybody in the family is working as an individual and not as a collective or a corporation. Because if we look at wealthy families, they're actually run like corporations. Because when we sit back and say, what are the wealthiest families in the world? We use their products and services. The Mars family, Sam Walton has 5 of his offspring on the richest people in the world list. You know about the Rothschilds. You know about, so many other people, the Rockefellers. And I say this often, no one never mentions the Vanderbilts because they lost the wealth. They lost the wealth. Right? So, what is your family's strengths? What is your family's weaknesses? Creating a family income statement and creating a family balance sheet.